to HT Face2Face, a recurring video series. Today's segment, we're going to talk about networks and connectivity, the foundation of today's hospitality. I'm Hospitality Technology Editor-in-Chief Robert Firpo-Cappiello. My guest is Mark Haley, a partner at Prism Hospitality Consulting. Mark, welcome to HT Face2Face.
Thank you, Robert. I'm pleased to be here with you and our audience.
We're psyched to have you. I wanted to kick off with a discussion of, we all know, as the name of this segment implies, we all know that networks and connectivity are the canvas upon which a hospitality experience can be painted. But I'd like to start with some of the challenges faced by hospitality brands, in particular hotel brands, with networks and connectivity. What are your thoughts?
Well, hotels have lots of different kinds of challenges relative to their networks. Depending on the age of the hotel, it may have been installed with substandard cabling or not according to the proper standards. That's the EIA-TIA 568 standard there. A real issue for almost every hotel is a lack of documentation as to what the network actually looks like. Nobody really knows where wire A begins and ends. And if you go back far enough, we didn't have a network in the hotel that all the devices were connected to. We had multiple networks for individual systems. There was a network for the property management system, a network for the point of sale system, a separate network for the telephone system. Today, all of those have generally been converged into one, but that doesn't mean that in an older hotel, you're not going to have some remnant of these multiple networks out there that all need to be cared and fed.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's really useful place to start. As things have come together, we're seeing in recent years, we're seeing especially an emphasis on in-room entertainment, and not just for its opportunities to entertain, but to do other things too. I'm seeing how do you see in-room entertainment? How has it evolved in recent years to meet changing consumer demands and expectations?
Well, it's really become a very dynamic space in the last several years with multiple viable competitors, where in the past there were maybe one or two. So that's very interesting and exciting from a hotelier perspective. The in-room entertainment system has in many ways become much more valuable to the hotel. It used to be that the primary source of value from in-room entertainment was the ability to do on-demand video and to help the customer navigate their way through. Today, interactive program guides are the standard. And what guests really want is not video on demand, where you'll pay $7.99 or $9.99 or more or less for movies of different sorts, but the opportunity to put your own content onto the large screen TV in the guest room. So you can log on to your Netflix or Amazon Prime account and watch your content just in the comfort of the hotel room on the larger screen rather than a laptop or even a phone. The most effective way to do that is through a technology called casting. Google's Chromecast has sort of come to dominate that segment of things, but it's quite simply where you open up the application of interest, and there are thousands of cast-enabled applications in the market now. So open up, say, your Netflix, and navigate to the program that you want, push the cast icon, enter a pairing code that appears on the TV so that you know that your content is going to appear on your TV and not in the room next door. And then you can sit down and watch Stranger Things or that college basketball game on a remote coast or whatever is of interest to you.
So we're really seeing that as, we've been seeing a trend toward personalization and even hyper-personalization, and that's certainly in line with that. I know what I want to see, but I want to see it on your big screen.
Yeah.
And,
my content, the hotel's TV.
Yeah.
There's another important aspect of evolution relative to in-room entertainment that I think is worth noting. A year and a half ago, when COVID-19 hit, one of the first things that most hotels did was they took everything that was non-essential out of the room. That included pads of paper, pencils, tent cards, and the much beloved compendium, the fat leather folder with typically outdated information about hotel amenities and services and what you do in the area. With today's in-room entertainment systems, we can readily move the compendia content to the in-room entertainment system, where, for one thing, it's much easier and less expensive to keep it current. So if you have closed an outlet due to low occupancy, for example, you can simply note it as closed or simply remove it from the content. And then when business picks up again and you reopen it or you extend the hours of that outlet, a hotel employee with really a minimal amount of training can use the back-end content management system to update the content and let people know that the lounge is now open until 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and until midnight on Friday and Saturday.
Mhm. That's you're mentioning the compendium and its movement to digital is you basically set up the pins that we're now going to knock down, because my next question was what new opportunities are we seeing for revenue enhancement, revenue recovery at hotels? And I know some people are saying this opens up a lot of retailing opportunities for hotels, not just for on-property offerings, but even in the neighborhood, two-way communications, allowing customers to buy things in the area, set up show tickets, sporting events, all that kind of thing. I'm wondering what your thoughts are there for the real prospects for revenue generating, upselling, using again the in-room communications and entertainment.
Well, in-room entertainment to sell merchandise to me is a struggle. We've tried doing in-room dining, order taking over the televisions for many years, and the take rate continues to be very, very low there. I think probably in terms of retail or selling merchandise, the biggest opportunity is to have great content with captivating photography of what's in the retail outlet and why it's special and why the customer can't get the same goods at home, to try to get them into the retail store rather than actually merchandising the product over the TV. Same with, say, spa product. Let's get them into the spa rather than try to sell them spa product over the TV. Selling things for merchants outside the hotel, that becomes a challenge in that it now becomes an advertising sale and a video content production exercise. And hotels aren't really built well to do that. We sell meetings and corporate transient sales. We're not good at selling advertising. So that's going to be a reach for most hotels. Where I think there are some opportunities for these newer modes of communication are selling hotel services that are non-physical in nature. I think a great example there is if you've got a chatbot or just a human-mediated text messaging service in the hotel, and a guest sends a text message at 10 o'clock in the morning that says, we're going to be there in 15 minutes, can we check in? You can reply back with a, yes, early check-in is available for only $50. Mm-hmm. Boom, that all drops straight to the bottom line. Mm-hmm. That's where the opportunities lie, I believe, with these newer modes of communication.
So selling services, and then to your larger point, avoiding a feeling of advertising. That good content marketing really is what we're talking about. Get them into the shop, and that's so again, in-room entertainment. Continue holding interest, and of course, I always love to hear that content is king, because I'm in the content business myself. And I had one more question. It's rather open-ended though. There are several technologies that are either emerging or are now more readily available than ever before to properties, and I just would love to pick your brain on some of them. Just some examples of voice recognition. Facial recognition, 5G is happening. SD-WAN has been around for a while, but is now more readily available. Edge has been around for a while, but again, we're seeing more of an adoption. Take your pick from any of those. I would love to hear some of your thoughts.
Well, they're all very different technologies with different implications for hotels. Let's just take them in order from the top. I love the idea of starting with voice. To me, voice is very, very exciting. It's a small space today. There's really only one or two vendors with meaningful traction in the space. Most implementations are based on either Amazon Alexa or the Google Assistant voice assistant. They're slightly different from each other, but in general, they do the same things. For either one to have significant utility or value to the guest, the voice assistant has to be connected to other things in the guest room. So you might have an integration between the voice assistant and, say, the television system in the room, the in-room entertainment system. So you can tell the voice assistant, Alexa, turn the TV on, tune to ESPN. Or if the voice assistant is connected to the energy management system in the room, you could say, hey, Google, set the thermostat to 71 degrees. Or, hey, Google, open the drapes, please. So that's where this connectivity to other things is what drives the value for the voice assistant. The most important piece of value that a hotel can realize from a voice assistant is integration with your service optimization system. So that's where the guest might say something like, Alexa, please tell my hotel to bring me 4 towels. The voice assistant interprets the intent of that request and turns it into a command that the integration sends over to the service optimization system, which then receives this command for bring 4 towels to room 1, 2, 3, 4, and it dispatches it to a house person for them to fulfill. And that's all happened hands off, no labor from the hotel to make that happen. Mm-hmm. So tremendously exciting opportunities if you integrate the service optimization system with the voice assistant. One of the things that's happening with voice assistants is I know of at least one hotel in the United States that is using the Google Nest Hub as a replacement for the in-room telephone. There's no telephone in the room, but you can say, hey, Google, please call the front desk, and you'll speak to them through the Google Nest Hub. That's an important device because it's got a screen, a touch screen that you can interact with, as well as the voice assistant, but there's no camera. So the guest doesn't have any concern that there is a camera intruding the room. And there's a hardware switch on the back that just turns it off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it cannot be turned on with back on with the software. So voice, tremendously exciting area in my mind. Your second topic was facial recognition. That's one that you really need to be careful of. If you're talking about the casino floor, okay, I get that. If you're talking about an airport and TSA, I really get that. And you know what? Set the level of confidence down low. I'm willing to accept false positives in the airport kind of setting. But for most hotel applications, I think you need to be cautious of it because the technology has become so politicized really for the wrong reasons. But one valid and acceptable use of voice recognition for hotels is if you're trying to do kiosk check-in, and you need to validate that the form of ID presented matches the person presenting it, then there are facial recognition algorithms that'll do that. But it's not comparing it to a database of known terrorists, for example.
Right. You're
just comparing the face in front of the camera with the ID that's been presented. So be cautious, but there are ways to benefit from that technology for hotels. 5G, people talk about that as if it's new, but the carriers are doing a great job deploying it very rapidly in surprising places, small towns. Mm-hmm. The town will be blanketed with 5G. So it's there now from a network perspective in many, if not most locations. If you go out and buy a new cell phone today, it's going to be 5G enabled. So we're there from a cellular telephone communications perspective in the network. Where we're not there yet are devices that can ride on those networks and benefit from the throughput and capacity and speed of them. So this is where we start talking about making your vehicles much smarter. I think a great application for hotels would be fleet management for, say, an airport hotel with a lot of shuttles. A 5G enabled tracking device in each of the shuttles could tell you exactly where it is and quite possibly how many people have gotten on, so you know what kind of arrival to check in when it returns from Terminal 3 with either 1 passenger or 14 passengers. Those are very different scenarios to prepare for. And of course, it can also tell the chief engineer that shuttle number 3 needs an oil change last week. Come on. So lots of opportunities for 5G there, but we now have the network and we need the applications that can build on it. That's going to be the developing thing. SD-WAN and edge computing are, as you noted in the question, Robert, they've been around for a while, but they're becoming more and more prevalent. In terms of SD-WAN, nobody in the hotel is ever going to know whether you're working through an antiquated frame relay network or a contemporary SD-WAN. It's going to be completely transparent to you as the user, certainly invisible to the guest. Where you will see it is in a lower cost in your network services. So lots of benefits there, but it's all invisible to anyone. You only see it on the financial statements.
Right.
Edge computing, that's different in that it is visible to the consumer, where you take the content from, say, your website and put it out on the edge, close to the guest. So let's say that you're a global hotel company, and many of your clients are located in Asia, and but your website is located in the United States. Edge computing allows you to put your content in Asia much closer to them and reduce latency or time required to load the content. So that means you can have richer photography and a more engaging website without forcing that far, far away guest in Asia to suffer through very slow page loading.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing there is just the cost has come down dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Where back in 1990, whatever, the cost of engaging with Akamai might have been measured in the thousands of dollars a month. Now you can get a Cloudflare service for maybe a couple $100 a month. Mm-hmm. So just the economics have shifted dramatically in favor of the hotelier.
Yeah, I really appreciate those thoughts. I've grown familiar with how Edge can benefit restaurants, in a minute-to-minute communications environment.
Mm-hmm.
This insight into how it's benefiting hotels is really, really interesting to me. I'd like to explore that more. I really appreciate your time, Mark. Mark Haley, partner at Prism Hospitality Consulting. This has been illuminating, and thank you for joining the hospitality technology audience on HT Face2Face.
Thank you, Robert, and thank our audience for sharing their time with us today. Make it a great one.